Okay, Wednesday morning in the kingdom, and it's Welder-Less Wednesday. Yes, try and say that sober. Yes, today we won't be using the welder for any power because we have to save on gasoline. Yes, gasoline. Things are getting tight here in WHO-ville. Johnny G will be arriving today with not much freight. Yes, there's not much freight because the big store or company chain or whatever is not bringing the supplies in because, well, their corporate management or upper management has decided to, not support us, but that's okay. And then the small little store in town is, must be running out of money because they did too much work with the government. And the government's, 60 to 90 days to pay, so the old bank account must be getting empty. Yes, I don't know all about that. Doing work for the government and people that don't pay their bills when I was a small little business, and they pay whenever, and then they wonder why I have no interest in working with them or doing anything with them. Well, you gotta pay. So this morning we woke up to plus 12 Celsius, but feels like plus 12. And then on the yo-yo scale, plus 53 Fahrenheit, but feels like plus 53. Yes, boring. Supposed to be warm today. And I made a mistake again for the first time in my life yesterday, draining that big tank. Not 12 hours, 24 hours. Yes, so 2 12s equals a 24, just like in beer, eh? If you don't have enough money for a 24 a beer, get 2 12s. Yes, that's how the easiest way to remember it. Yes. All right, so no power today for the welders, so we're going to be wandering around aimlessly lost. And 2, I didn't like that Skippy peanut butter. Oh, it's so big, won't come out. Oh, I should have been better planned or wore a bigger jacket. Oh, right. So the spread of choice on my bread toast in the morning is now marmalade. Who the hell thought marmalade up? I grew up with this. We used to eat it all the time, and now it's not as popular as when I grew up. Yes, that is a big heavy jar. That's just one day's use of the marmalade. I devour it like candy. All right, let's scroll this way to see the fog. Yes, the fog. The London fog has rolled in. Yes, oh, that's where all the relatives are from, is over there. Yes, that's why I have the, a perfect English. Yeah, right. I screw up the English language big time. All right, a little bit more. We're going to have to get on the loader today and bounce around. We have things to do. So we can burn diesel fuel in the loader, but we can't burn the gasoline because we have more diesel fuel than gasoline. And also, too, that today we'll measure everything because it's been 1 week since we fueled everything up. And we'll do an inventory recount to see how much we've used as we live off grid. Yes, the community WHO-ville, that community that went off grid together on August 1st. Yes, so that's today, August 27th, so that's 27 days. We have another 30 days to go till we get hydropower back. Maybe. Well, we better go. Enjoyed some marmalade with the boss. Here he comes.
Wednesday morning in WHO-ville. It's almost 8 a.m. and I'm just waiting for Johnny G to show up. He has a load of groceries for WHO-ville, but he's also dropping off some grinding blades for my dad that he picked up when he was down south. Now let's head inside and let the dogs out and make breakfast. Johnny G should be arriving in WHO-ville anytime now. It's been a week since I filled up the power source, so I'll check the diesel on that in a second. I have 3 jerry cans left for the welder, which isn't bad. I only used 1 jerry can this week. Inside the power source, and now I will check the diesel level. That is still pretty much full. This thing just sips the diesel, so I didn't use that much this last week. I think it's sitting about here, maybe? I'll put my stick down there and see. I just put my stick down in the hole to check the fuel level, and I was right. It's sitting right in here. That is not bad for 1 week of use. I had it filled up right to the top, so I did not use very much diesel this week, which is good, and I've had this thing running a bunch.
Okay, after morning coffee in the kingdom with no beverage, so I had an extra spoon of sugar, yes, to give me that sugar high, yes, oh my. All right, so the fog hasn't really lifted. We haven't heard Johnny G come to town. That's what joys of being a town fully evacuated with the road closed. If we hear a vehicle, we know somebody's coming. All right, so 1 week ago today, August 20th. We topped up all the fuels, everything in the morning, and we're keeping track. But this time around, I marked the hours down on the welder, so we know how many hours we actually ran for the amount of fuel. All right. So today is Welder-Less Wednesday, so we're not going to use the welder to, how would you say, heat the house or cook or anything like that. So today we're going to be totally on inverter power. And over here we checked the barrel. That was full last Wednesday, and it's above the ring. So we probably burned 60 liters of gasoline, which would be 15 gallons of gasoline for 1 week or 7 days of living comfortably in the kingdom. All right, let's go check the mini power source. Okay, when we get welder power again, probably tomorrow, we're going to have to build a hinged lid for the top of the wood stove for the master bedroom, because it's going to rain and we'll have wood in there. I mean, water down the chimney. We don't want it to rust out. Okay, so the mini power source ran the whole week. The only problem we had was the day after we did the video last Wednesday. This little main seal, the crankshaft seal here, starts leaking. I don't know if you can see it. It's leaking down in here, and then it's kind of going up on the belt and spraying everywhere. But that's no problem. That's no problem. That's not drama. This leak over here is coming out the blow-by tube over here, which is normal. Got to remember, this motor is probably 30 years old, and it's enjoying the good life. So it's leaking. That's no problem. The oil amount it's using isn't really that much. So just leave it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Because if you go to take that pulley off to try and see about that seal, it's pointless. You're going to break something. We can't touch it. Also too, today I turned off the master switch for the inverter. And that'll reset the hours so I know how many hours I ran the whole week. This system is working good. The fuel tank back here is still above half for the amount that we're using it. Plus we're using this thing more than we have been in the past, but then we're getting lots done. We're very pleased with the battery power that we have. We know the limitations of these being, how would you say, acid filled or whatever, compared to the deep cell gel batteries. But it's either this or nothing. We are so lucky that we had this power source. It's, how would you say, this mini diesel motor sitting in this shed. It was the parts motor for the one the staff has at her house. That's the good motor. So this is the parts one we thought was no good, not worth fixing or keeping around. So if it has a little oil leak, that's no problem. And we're very thankful that Sir Rodney had these quality inverters and shipped them up to us when we had our firefighting supplies shipped up. Yes, we are so lucky. That was back in July of 2025. So this is keeping us going. So life is normal in the kingdom. When it rained heavy, we shut the door and had the exhaust go out, so we locked out. And we close it up at night and it starts no problem. With this battery power here, it's keeping my fridge cold overnight. And sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I can hear the low bells or beeping of the indicator there. So we lost all battery power, low batteries. But they kept the fridge going all night, so my Kool-Aid's cold. But the main thing is the dog treats are frozen, because they don't like soggy dog treats. They like frozen dog treats as their treat and stuff like that. All right, let's get on with the day. The boss will be grouchy.
It is pretty foggy out here right now as well. Kind of a mist, as you can see off into the distance there. It's actually supposed to be really warm again today, so I'm not sure what we'll be doing in the kingdom. As you can see, you can't see the trees off into the distance there. Sorry about my voice. I think I'm getting sick. It is that time of year again. 9:30 and still no Johnny G. Hopefully he didn't break down on the road or get lost. You never know, anything can happen. It is still pretty foggy out here with that little bit of a mist, so it is hard to see on the road. I'm just waiting for him to show up. Once Johnny G comes by to drop off the grinding blades, I'm going to head out and do some berry picking. Hopefully there's some blueberries left. 10:30 and Johnny G just arrived into WHO-ville. I called it. He did break down. I guess he hit a puddle and broke one of his antifreeze lines, so he's been running a few miles at a time since he doesn't have any antifreeze. They are going to try and fix him in WHO-ville here. There's a place in town that is still here that they're going to fix him. They fixed him the last time he broke down, but at least he made it here and he was able to drop off the grinding blades for my dad. Now let's get on the quad and head out and do some berry picking. Hopefully there's some left.
Okay, to continue the quest of Welder-Less Wednesday, we're going to do loose ends, which doesn't require welder. Yes, all right, there's the cats all lined up. So the 67 Chevy, when we got it, it has the big back window, which we need, yes, for filming purposes. All right, back in the day, if your park brakes and everything gave you trouble, you tossed them away. Yes, remove, toss, and called it good, yes. So we're, how would you say, put all the new brake shoes, the drums, everything on back in 2022. And then the new brake cables are duct taped to the frame or to the control arm there. So we have it in the cart at Rock Auto for the pieces to go from here up to there. Yes, because up to here, the cable actually goes through the floor or whatever, comes out the firewall and goes down. We can see it there, but it's cut off underneath. I think we can salvage it. This truck being a standard is great problems. I thought driving it with no mirrors was trouble, but no park brake. Yes, no park brake. The handle's there. So that gives it the details of a 67, because it's the lever. The 69 has the pedal down here. That truck is complete. So now we have to find the pieces. There's one, we have no shipment to the end of the world to order the parts off of Rock Auto or anywhere else. Plus the shipping and the duties and exchange on the dollar is way too much. So we're going to do some, how would you say, off-grid living. Okay, just like on Sesame Street, I was over there, but now I'm over here. Yes, I'm down here. Let's scroll this way so we can see the wilderness. Yes, wilderness Alaska, but in Northern Manitoba, and the sandflies. My co-workers have joined me. All right, so there's the scrap pile over there. There's the loader. There's the 38 GMC. Yes, I couldn't drive behind the house because of that contractor. It made such a mess, I would have get stuck. Oh, the bug's unreal. So I drove out the front gate, down the highway and back into WHO-ville. But I was okay. I had my windshield wiper. Yes, in case I had to clean the window. Yeah, the windshield, because it was going to rain. All right, so over here, we have a square body. All right, so we're going to, how would you say, we sacrificed it for parts. All right, so I'll switch the camera around so we don't have to look at my smiley face, and we'll get back to business. All right, smile. Okay, it was in 2020, the great lockdowns, and I decided to retire, and we were cleaning up the yard. We cleaned up all in here. Yes, it was a hell of a mess. We cleaned it up. So when my demise comes, this yard will go back to nature. Yes, so the next person after me doesn't have to clean it up like I've had to clean up all their messes. So what we were doing is downsizing, taking all our scrap metal, tossing it into the trucks, the trailers, anything that would hold it. But also too, the pile got a little bigger as we cleaned up the wilderness. All that's from the wilderness. Yes, the wilderness that we've cleaned up. Most of this is from the wilderness that we've cleaned up. And then we have our scrap pile. Look at all the appliances, because nothing lasts very long. All right, so over here we stripped the motor out of the square body on the rear end, and I think the motor is in the, I'm not really sure, it might be the 46 Chevy truck. I'll have to check my notes at my age. So we got the service truck here, and we have to follow along with the startup procedure. Yes, we have the note sheet here, just like the SR71 Blackbird. You have to checklist before you have ignition to start up and run. Yes, so over here we flipped the truck over, but also too, back in 2020 we were tossing everything. Yes, everything. So this tin that we saved over the years is now become reusable because we're now off-grid living. Yes, so this tin was in the truck. The box has more. So what we'll do is we'll get these brake parts. Yes, these brake parts. This is what we need. I bought new clippies, but I need those little rubber booties. Yes, yes, just like in the bedroom. And these clippies, yeah, and this cable. We'll see if we can make it work one more time. And the rod and the adjuster thing right there. Yes, the adjuster thing. So those things there, I think Rock Auto was like 300 bucks or something Canadian by the time you figure out all the little nicky knacks and everything like that to get the park brake to work on the 67. Now the world has changed. 3 years later, we're going back to how the hot rod days were. Go to the scrapyard, the junkyard, get the parts you need, make it work. That's now the new world we live in because we can't afford anything. But this truck was rusted. Yes, rusted big time. Oh well. It's a square body. It served the old guy in town well. And the thing is, we had fun wrecking it, and there was a lot of good parts on it. We did the plasma cutter, cut any of the sheet metal off that we could use. Yes, anything we could use. All right, let's get to work. And it's okay. It is Welder-Less Wednesday, but technically the welder's just going to be running the grinder there with the chop saw blade in it. But that's not the one we're going to use. We're going to use one with the safety guards, everything on it, because we have to work safely up here at the end of the world.
Made it up to my blueberry spot, and there are still some left. Hopefully I can fill a butter container or two full. That way I can sort them out throughout the day. 12 p.m. and I just got back from blueberry picking. I was able to fill up 3 big butter containers. It'll take me a day, maybe 2 days to sort all this out, which is okay. Looks like it might be a rain day, and the sandflies mosquitoes are starting to get bad. Sorry about the background noise. My inverter is low battery, so it's beeping at me to turn the power source on to charge the batteries. Now let's head inside and let the dogs out and make lunch.
Okay, lunchtime in the kingdom, and we now know why Johnny G was late. He popped an antifreeze line. Yes, for the DEF heater. Yes, up here in Northern Canada, we have to keep the DEF warm so it flows because it freezes. So the line popped off. So we parked him over a creek here, a little gully, so we can crawl underneath. Actually, there's the rest of it to leak out. So we have the service truck right here, the quad with the trailer. Yes, the quad with the trailer, because we have to call a cases of antifreeze and the plywood. And the sandflies are going to join us on this repair. And Johnny G's over there wandering around aimlessly lost. Well, I better get to work. It's lunchtime. Okay, there we go. Johnny G's fixed up, ready to go. And he's got some extra antifreeze for the trip home in case the hose falls off again. Hopefully not.
12:30 and I'm just finishing lunch and fed the dogs. Now I'll head up to the store and see if they have any milk and a few other things, then go over to the kingdom and see what my dad's doing this afternoon. Just finished shopping at the 2 stores. At the one store, I got a few things on sale. Hard and soft taco shells and fajitas were both 50% off. I like the wraps out of these, so I like to get those when they're on sale. We also have some milk from the other store. There's cherries in here and a few other things. So I'll be having tacos tonight. They also had lettuce, so I made sure to grab a couple of heads for my dad and I, and then potato salad. Now let's head over to the kingdom and drop this off. Made it to the kingdom and dropped off my dad's groceries and stuff. On my way in, I seen Johnny G at the back of the kingdom, so we'll head down, go see what he's up to. Pretty sure my dad is fixing his break that he had this morning with that antifreeze line, so let's go check it out. When I went down to the back gate to check on my dad and Johnny G was just leaving the kingdom. Looks like my dad was able to get it fixed no problem. I guess whoever in WHO-ville that was supposed to fix Johnny G wasn't available, so my dad handled it. Now let's head back into WHO-ville.
Okay, the sun's come out and it's kind of nice out here. It's supposed to be a hot day. Yes, back in the good old days, we'd be using the air conditioner to cool the house, but no, not anymore. So we're processing our bountiful harvest from this morning. Yes, the cables and everything, soaking them down. We soak them in the wheelbarrow for wood. That way the wood soaks up the, the used oil, and we repurpose one more time through the wood stove. Okay, for Welder-Less Wednesday, we find a loophole. So we're running the welder in the service truck and follow the cord yogi. There's the garden hose going out through the old shop end wall, or the new shop end wall. And down here, we have the pump on a stick, pumping the water out. Yes, the pump on a stick can only pump down so far, and then you scoop it into the pail. That way you can get the pit dry. Yes, hopefully by tomorrow the pit will be dry, and we can use it to service the equipment, not as the cement pond for holding water for forest firefighting. Oh, these lips.
4:30 and I've just been doing yard work. I raked up the front of my yard. As you can see, there's 2 piles here. I will put those into the quad trailer. It has been pretty nice out here this afternoon. The sun came out around 1:32 p.m. 5 p.m. and I'm just getting ready to turn on the power source so I can charge up the inverter batteries. Not sure what I'll have for supper, maybe potato salad. So let's head inside, make supper, and end my day.
Okay, Jack is in the tree over there. Can you see that? All right, so that tank is 11,000 gallons and 50,000 liters. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and that means it's still flowing water out. I haven't walked over there to touch it to feel its hotness and coldness. Ooh, just like the wife when they got older. Yes, so over here we follow the garden hose, and as you can see, it's still draining out. So 48 hours to drain it out, and it's coffee time. So Johnny G gave me some cherries. Yes, look at that. And it's a product of Canada, and it's Oliver, BC. Oliver, yes, Oliver, BC. So when I see cherries like this, the first thing I think of in my mind is that song by Warrant, Cherry Pie. And Bobby Brown was on the roller skates. Oh, that was a good song. I felt sorry for Jamie Lane after he wrote that song. That's all he had to do was eat cherry pie, and everything was cherries, cherries, and cherries. So that'll be my coffee time treat. Only at the end of the world, living off grid, and how would you say, enjoying fruits of the Okanagan. All right, let's go have a coffee and enjoy some cherries. Okay, 5:30 in the kingdom, and we got everything lined up. Yes, this will be back in 1984, back at the Pink House in Alexander. Dad had the 70, Dad had the 38 GMC. He was doing nothing with it, and I had the 67 Chevy with the gray doors. Yes, except I'm seeing double. Oh, I can blame the alcohol. Yes. All right, let's scroll this way and see what's going on. We worked till 5:30. We performed magic to get Johnny G back on the road and heading south to get more freight. Yes, we couldn't wait for Mac to send up the correct parts for those fancy fittings, but we made it work. We had to, because Johnny G had to get back. All right, let's see what the flags are doing. Maybe I should untangle them. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll make a note. At my age, I'll forget. All right, let's go walk the dogs, make a video, and enjoy some cherries. Yes, some cherries. And we'll play that tune, that song or video, Cherry Pie, on the YouTube channel. All right, talk to you later.